me saying that there's AI and generative AI that's running inside of quantum computers isn't conspiracy.
I don't know about
That's a theory.
AI.
Wait a minute. You don't think that there's quantum computers?
I know that there is quantum computers. I don't know if there is quantum AI. AI running on quantum computers.
Oh, okay. No, I can understand that. That's the conspiracy you think there is. You think that I'm just
E1. Let me just fill you in.
that's fine.
brags about triple fortified fluoride toothpaste that he bought with extra fluoride because he thinks it's good for him. So there's no winning with Roohif, really, honestly.
Hang on, I think
he likes to be docile. It's okay. Anybody that wants fluoride,
I need a little more docile in my life. It feels good.
I think it's 5 times.
But really, isn't attacking the person a bit of a cheap shot? Just saying Roohif does this, that, the other. Isn't that a cheap shot?
No, it's not a cheap shot because he's admitting to it and laughing about it himself. He just said it's 5 times fortified. 5 times the fluoride in normal toothpaste.
Bring that in, just bring in something like that.
5,000
anyway.
a million.
That sounds like
Don't white knight for Roohif. He doesn't need it.
How many of fluoride?
Can you give us what are some practical applications of quantum computing? Because I've not seen any. Like, will it make my fuel injection system on my car work better, or where are some places it's being used in the real world?
Literally will take. But he's right. He's right.
One had a celestial navigation.
Say that again.
Someone said that you had a celestial navigation method on a planet.
Yeah.
Roohif, your mic is shit right now for some reason.
I thought it was me. When he said that, I went, oh, shit. I started moving towards my antenna.
It's unusual. He must have it in his shirt somewhere or something.
But yes, I have created a tool. I call it the Celestial Triangulation Tool. It's just pretty much a dual pole map with latitude and longitude emanating from the North and the South poles. I have the geographic Earth, which I'm depicting on there as well, with the star patterns or the star fields, which are overlaid on top of it. And I can use the stars and the sun, and I can use the moon too, but the stars and the sun to triangulate my position within a latitude and longitude on the Earth by using that map.
Have you solved Toon's challenge?
Somebody's talked to me. Is that the same thing, Dave, that you were talking about before?
Yeah, and then I think you can't use anything that's related to the globe. Did he allow almanac eventually? Was he trying to link that to being a globe thing? So you can use the almanac, but
it is, but he's allowed to use the almanac. Yes.
So I have heard of this before.
I wouldn't recommend having anything to do with McToon.
No. I have.
Just solve.
I have heard. I have heard of this before. I did not do it. As far as I didn't pursue trying to.
Do you have a write-up on the requirements of it, Roohif, that you could print out or put in the chat?
Don't worry about MC Toon's challenge. Just take the star angles that he's got on his website and try and get the position. Don't worry about submitting a solution. I just want to see the method work. That's all.
E1's not going to even have the gumption to go to his site. If you post something, you can look at it and see if it's possible or not.
Jesus
no. I just want to say this. I tried to go through this just earlier tonight with somebody else, and I've done it before. I cannot do it reverse. I can't take the angles of a star and just say I'm going to figure out where I'm at. I have to have parameters. I have to use my tool to show what my estimated latitude and longitude is by using the sun and Polaris in the northern hemisphere. And then I use the tool after I figure out my estimated. I triangulate with the stars on this with this overlay that then gives me the plotting. I can plot with that information and triangulate my position. I can't do it backwards.
You already know where you are?
Well, no. I know what the sky looks like. So I take my tool and I turn my stars of an overlay of where I know about where I'm at, average. I know I'm in America.
Can I still man your position?
Say that again?
Can I still man your position to Roohif? I think I can get him up to date with at least what I understand.
Steelman's the opposite of straw man, just like he's going to...
Oh, I didn't hear what he said. Yeah, go ahead. Steelman it. Do it all.
Okay. So So the way he was describing to me, as far as I understood, you can correct me if I'm wrong. He first he starts with a reading, a solar reading. He gets the time of solar noon. I think that's one of the readings. So time of solar noon.
Okay.
The other one
Yep.
is height of Polaris. So those are the first two readings he needs, and that establishes a estimated position. And then from that estimated position, he now is going to need 3 extra now bearing readings to stars using a magnetic compass, and those readings is what he's going to use to get his final answer.
All right.
So that doesn't match Toon's challenge format.
Right.
Is that right?
You got it. You got it perfectly.
Nice.
There's one little thing that, as far as the tool itself, has to be synced up with the stars, but that's just getting details and stuff. So yes, you Steelman it very well.
Okay, good to know. Means I understood you.
Yeah, and that's very helpful for me too, because I don't know if I'm getting things across the way that I want them to come across. And when you were saying that you didn't understand, I didn't understand what I wasn't saying right. And when you said that about the amplitude, it's just that I'm either using a different definition or a different word in usage or whatever it is, as opposed to what you do. And that's helpful to know.
And you kind of created this kind of like a way of doing it that you figured out without it being something that was like part of a system that existed already, right?
Sort
According
of.
to
I
RGPs
knew
with
that
the
there had
comments and all that.
sort of. I knew that it had to be done this way or some other way than what we were seeing, because there wasn't anybody on any ships or any any navigators from any ancient times before the 1600s that were using calculus to find out their exact positions of where they were. And the other thing is that well, if you start getting into figuring out all the amplitudes and everything, it's just that I'm either using a different definition or a different word in usage or whatever it is, as opposed to what you do. Where you're going to see that
But that doesn't falsify
numbers.
your layout. I'm talking about like falsifying the star wheels that you say that like you're,
That's what I'm saying. It'll
hang your
falsify the
hat
star
on.
wheels. It'll
How could
falsify them out of that.
Well, because of
Out of those places.
the error in the reading, the anomaly doesn't necessarily falsify your layout. If some baller wanted to know
I see what you're
whether
saying.
your stars are accurate with the way your map works, that's the falsifiability, which is what
Okay,
is
the main way
required for a good system, a good
the
model.
main way is what you were talking about, and what somebody else the last time I was here was talking about it. If you went on those images where you had the X's at the very north and then or the very top of the map,
Exactly.
so if you went from one of those to the other one directly across, that would be the falsifiable information.
Yeah, if you could actually go all the way from one pole to the other using only the international dateline, that would falsify it.
Yep, the 180 or 155, depending on which map you're going by. On all the regular maps, it'd be 180 degrees. If you can follow that 180 degree mark from Antarctica to Alaska, then yeah. But
And then any baller that just thinks the ball's true, they'll say it's already been falsified. Look at the line; it goes up the backside of the ball. Of course, it's real.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Sorry, we're talking about the dual pole thing that you posted before.
The international dateline, yeah.
Yeah, that'll depends on where you place that offset longitude. Will fuck up some flight.
No, we're talking about like the international dateline. They say that goes across that blue side of the ball. You know what we're talking about? It goes
I'm saying
pole
to
to
make-
pole.
I know where it is. Yes.
So that would make my map false if somebody could fly from Antarctica up the 180 line or boat 180 line longitude all the way up to Alaska.
It's too late because
And
they would have done it already if they could. So sorry.
Well, they've tried. They've tried a couple times, and one of the very very well known one was Avril Byrd, and it took him thousands of miles more than what it should have. It was literally like 12,000 miles more than what it should have.
Right.
You're talking about going from Antarctica via the Pacific up to the North Pole.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Well, no, actually on the international date line.
But it's in the Pacific. It doesn't matter whichever way you go. If you go west or east, you're in the Pacific. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
right.
No, well, you could go around the Pacific surrounding everything as long. I don't know if he's trying to
That's what
weasel
I'm
his way
saying.
into saying
No,
it's something that what's not.
he's saying it's in the Pacific. He's saying that international date line is on the Pacific, but it fudges
Well,
with mine 33 degrees no matter which way. He's just saying that it's in the Pacific, I think.
I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah,
What are you trying
you're
to say?
specifically asking if someone's like gone on a boat from Antarctica following the international date line.
All the way up to
Correct.
the other pole.
Correct. That's what I'm
All
talking
the way to the North Pole.
Why would someone do that?
Exactly.
Well,
Obviously something that
if
someone's
you
done.
wanted to falsify E1's brilliant new reality model, yeah, you'd have to do that.
Okay.
Well, and you can't say it's new
Now
because
I know
I
what's at
thought
stake.
I'm kidding.
now I thought it was new. I thought I came up with everything, but apparently this has been around for a while. The same way that I thought the Weems and Plath, the star wheels, were new. They aren't. They're old, ancient. That they were called astrolabes, and they didn't have 57 of them on before. They had 3 or 5 different stars. So all of this information has just been gleaned from other locations, from either ancient sources or modern sources that have been transposed from other, whether you call it civilizations or other governments.
Well,
So
as
it's
far
not
as
like
you know, or as far as we've seen, no one's put the wheels side by side the way you have, and had the cog, the two north and south converging and diverging star trails over a flat Earth, working just the
well,
way you have it,
yes and
as far as I
no,
know.
because in order
that
for
shit
there
anyway.
to be an almanac, that data is what these star wheels are put together. So
Let's say you've got
it's
2 stars, all right? And there's
Mhm.
one star is a couple of degrees north declination, and another star is a couple of degrees south declination. Your star trail map means that they diverge stupidly, all right?
Converge.
of
Yeah,
very
completely.
stupidly. Yeah,
Yep.
very, very
Yep.
stupidly.
Right. That doesn't happen.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
okay, prove that. Prove that it doesn't happen.
Let's find what is it Orion that straddles the equator?
Yeah,
That would be Orion. That it would be
celestial
the one.
equator.
Yep.
Right, which is the equivalent of the Earth equator.
No, it's not.
Yep. Exactly.
In
So
what
that's
way
The
is
the
it
celestial
not?
equator.
assumptions.
No, the celestial equator does not follow exactly around on the even your ball equator. It does not. You can go around on the equator in what you're calling the equator. I don't think that is the equator, but what you're calling equator, and the celestial equator is not 360 degrees around the ball that you're thinking directly on that equator.
Okay, how's it not?
Okay. What? Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay. Do you think that the moon and the sun are held at the equator, or they're spinning around the center of the Earth?
They
I mean,
have
they're
orbits on an incline. They're not.
So the Earth is
Their
on the
declination
incline,
is
right?
constant.
The Earth is
Sorry?
on the incline, right?
Well, the celestial equator is perpendicular to the axis of rotation, so it's
No, right. Hold
Earth's
on.
incline
So
relative to what?
The Earth is spinning, and the moon and the sun, near ideas, are going around the center of the Earth, but not exactly at the center because the Earth is tilted at 23.4 degrees,
The
whichever way, right?
declination is relative to the
No, I'm
celestial
asking
equator.
you, is that what you're saying? You're under the impression that that's what's happening, right? That the
You
sun
keep
and the
saying
moon
the
are
Earth is
going.
tilted. You keep saying
Is the Earth
is
not tilted as
It's not.
its axis? Its axis as opposed to where it goes around the sun. It's not tilted 23.4 degrees?
Relative to the ecliptic.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, not the fucking celestial equator. That's a nonsensical statement.
So
Saying it's
does the
tilted relative
celestial
to the
equator follow the sun and the moon all the time?
no.
I don't know what that means.
When you see the moon go around the Earth, does it since or the Earth spins and the moon goes over the top of your head? Does it go down the celestial equator all the time?
It shifts declination between plus and minus.
Right. Is it the
plus and minus
same
30
as
degrees.
Is it the same as the sun?
No, it also shifts. The
No,
only thing
I
we
know,
have
but do they shift the
is
same?
declinations.
Do they shift the same?
No.
Are they on the same? No, they're not.
No,
Whoa, wait a minute. You don't think the sun and the moon go to 23.4 degrees latitude
do.
north and 23 and do they do it at the same time?
no,
Right. Do they ever follow as far as does the celestial equator ever go up to 23.4 degrees?
no. That's no.
Right. So do you
Do
not
you know what
understand that?
declination is?
Dude, I understand we don't use the word the same. Do you think that the angle of the sun from the celestial equator, it goes to 23.4 degrees on the summer solstice
Yes.
or not? Okay, does the
Yes.
equator move?
No.
Does the celestial equator move?
No.
Okay. So now when the sun goes around, or what you're saying the equator goes around, you think that the celestial equator goes around where the sun goes around,
The declination of
right?
the sun moves between plus and minus 23.5. The declination of the moon moves, I think, between about plus and minus 30.
Thought it would be more than that.
Okay. So are they the same as the celestial equator? Do they always, are they exactly in sync with the celestial equator? Do they run down the
Sun
celestial,
and moon?
like let's say let's say at March 21st, does the sun run down the celestial equator?
Yes.
No,
declination
it
is
doesn't.
zero,
That's
yes.
that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you actually measure the sun, when it comes around on March 21st, you have a positive number, a positive on your sextant. If you're looking at the sun, it's positive north as it goes through the day at exactly a certain time, and I believe it's 6 o'clock when it's going from the north to the south. It literally crosses over through the day from positive to negative. So the sun isn't even running down your equator, what you believe is the equator. It's definitely not running down the celestial equator,
How,
even in one day. Even
how
during one
precise
day.
are we trying to be? How
What
precise
was
are we
this?
talking about? Like within
What's
half
the
a
No,
sun
degree?
so
related?
other than that one day, it never crosses
It's the
over
day
it.
you fucking
But
brought up.
no, I'm saying, so that one day it goes around and it's moving constantly up and down in that I say declination, you say, what is it, azimuth? What do you, the
I say
zenith of,
declination. We're just talking about the equivalent latitude that the sun or
right?
moon traces on
So
the Earth.
is the declination of the sun and the at on March 21st, let's say before it crosses it's 0 on March 21st, the sun?
The
No,
declination
it's
of the
not.
sun is zero.
No, it's not.
Oh,
I'm sorry to tell you. It's
Yes, it
not.
is.
no, he
No,
means
it
something
is
else.
for
He
one
means something else by
point.
declination.
No, in it is only on the equator. The sun is only on the equator, your equator or the celestial equator, for 3 minutes and 50. It's actually less than that. 3 minutes and 56 seconds in one
Okay.
moment, twice a year.
So how
It
precise are
doesn't
we
run
trying to
down the
be?
equator. Is what I'm saying. You go to the almanac. You go to the almanac and watch the sun throughout the day of whether you're measuring it or not. The actual data shows you that the sun moves through, doesn't sit on the equator. It literally moves past the equator, and at one moment, a 3 minute moment, is when it's touching the equator. The rest of the time, it's not on it.
Okay,
And
so you're talking
any
about
other
like a
day,
matter of precision, right? You're talking
Yeah,
about
how's
like
it
it might be
relevant?
0.1 degrees. Might go from 0.1 to negative 0.1
right,
over
but
the
see,
course of a
you
day.
you look at it as a ball. I don't look at it as a ball. I look at it as a figure eight.
No.
So the minute that it crosses over from the northern to the southern, it's not a 1 degree anymore. It's only 1 degree at the center. So you can look at my map, or you can just think of a quadrant as far as how you split it up from north to south, east to west. So you have a
Okay.
quadrant all the way around. The minute mine passes over,
Just hold up.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
trying to
go
work
ahead.
out whether we're talking about a matter of precision, as in the declination of the sun might go from negative 0.1 degree at the start of the equinox and plus 0.1 at the end of the day. Is that all we're talking
Okay.
about?
Right, but see, you're looking at it
Okay.
as a ball going around the top, so it only moves, it only changes that 1 degree. Whereas I'm showing it on my map, you can see how the sun would move around in a figure 8, right? It moves in a circle around the north, and then on March 21st, it literally, I'm sorry, not March 21st, on September 21st, it literally crosses the ecliptic, crosses that plane over the celestial equator, or what I'm, and then now it's not in the northern, so it's not 1 degree anymore. The minute it passes over into the southern hemisphere and it goes around the circle around the southern, it's stuck in that southern hemisphere, circling around, going through the ecliptic or the magnetic field spiral pattern all the way through until it comes back. So it's got 182 and a half days till it comes back to that. So it's not 1 degree. It's at that moment, it literally changes. That's why I'm saying
understood.
that it matches up with your sun as far as you understand.
Back to the original question. If we have a constellation where 2 of the stars span the celestial equator by a small amount, they should, over the course of the night, diverge, right?
Where? No, not anywhere. Just only at the edges of the celestial equator, because it's a magnetic field. It's not that the stars. I'd have to describe it like this: it's not that they're a track, and that each star is separate, is an entity held within the constellations. It's a magnetic field. So when you get to the edges of those magnetic fields, just like you do any magnetic field, the opposing magnetic field is there. So when they split, you still see all these constellations. You just would have to be there. And in order for us to see it, what was it? I would have to go 6,400 miles away from South America to the west. And then when I get to the French Polynesian, I'm still 4,000 miles away from where I would be able to visually see the star split. Not saying that you can't, not saying that you won't be able to see this, but at that point, that field doesn't disappear is what I'm trying to say. It's not that it splits.
Do the stars with a positive declination do laps around the northern hemisphere? Stars with a negative declination do laps around the southern hemisphere, right?
Correct.
Right. So they diverge.
Right, but okay, so
but you just don't see that they diverge.
He just said,
hold on.
well, if I heard what he said, he just said that he thinks it does happen, but we can't get there to see it, right? Essentially.
Yes, and not only that is when we get there, when we get to that point, instead of it being to where you look at a star and you see the constellation split, right? You're going to see a collide.
I'm not convinced it does split. I would have to see it, myself. I mean,
no, I know.
Do you think it does? Like visually?
I'm not.
Because E1, I think it could be possible in my mind. Like, could there be a way in which the whole thing is like a cohesive, with like an internal reflection effect on the outer to where it's all like a cohesive system? I don't know. I've thought about this, but go ahead.
I don't think of it as reflection. I think of it as the opposing field. So it's the same way that if you were standing in Egypt and you were looking south, you can see that field, the difference between the north and the south field, no matter if you believe it is a ball or not. When you get to these points I'm talking about, whether it be to the east or the west where they would diverge, you would have the opposing field exactly like a kaleidoscope at that point of the celestial equator and where the field stops, or where you think that northern field stops. So you would see the exact same.
Sounds like an excuse to say that they don't visually diverge when your model
says that they I know they diverge. I'm saying they diverge. I'm saying they diverge, but not the same way as what you're thinking is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they split apart away from each other. I'm saying they diverge just like a kaleidoscope would. The same information that you're seeing on the top left corner is the same information that you're seeing on the bottom right hand corner. It's just split because of a visual separation in a kaleidoscope. It's a magnetic field inside of what I'm saying the world is. So it's still the same field. It's just an opposing field. You've seen magnetic fields and how you've never seen a magnetic field?
Roohif, the stars do appear to converge and diverge optically. The globe has their explanation for it, which I understand what that is, and it's actually problematic for the globe, but we'll leave that aside. But they do converge and diverge visually. That's just
No,
a
they
fact
don't.
because you have a northern, like if you're at the equator, you can see half of the northern rotation. You see where they're going straight above you, and then half of the southern rotation. So in order to go from one rotation to another, there's going to be a whole transition zone. From northern rotation to that arcing going around the North Pole to going straight right above you at the equator, and then if you're looking west to your left or going south, it's going to be arcing going around Sigma Octantis.
Yeah. You're talking about a projection issue or a perspective issue, right? I'm talking about let's say there are two stars in Orion's belt or whatever that span the celestial equator. This dual pole model means that they should diverge, at sunset or at, late in the day or whatever.
No, I
It's not late in
understand.
the day.
I understand that's what you're asking, but I'm just saying there's two phenomena. There's when you're at the equator, you see the conversion diverging. Then there's this other thing where the stars actually, you're saying the idea that they would actually split apart, in a way that we don't ever see, that I've ever seen. And but I don't. Well, E1, do you think that they have to separate, or do you think there's a way that it can be a dual pole without the separation? The one he's talking about, the one that's like where literally, like Orion's belt would like split basically. Like, what do you think on?
I believe they do split. I just think that
Show
it's
us a
not in the fashion. I didn't say I know that I believe they do split. And the reason is because it has to be exactly like a magnetic field. The same way that I would use in a magnetic motor. If I had a magnetic motor and then I put another magnetic motor next to it, you'd be able to do the same thing that we're talking about with the fields, as far as how the electric sparks or the electric current, the flux of the flow of the energy around that disc or around that magnetic electromagnetic motor is the same way that our stars would be. If you put two fields together, they're going to interact with each other, and as that point right where it splits, you're not just going to have, it's not that it splits. It does split, but it's not that it splits. It's literally like if you are sitting there, the two are one, and you don't. It's like two magnetic fields coming together where you get this kaleidoscope effect. If you send something down through the center of those two fields, you're going to have it. It has to pick. It has to pick whether it's going to circle around the north or around the south. And the one in the center, like we're talking about Orion's belt, literally splits at that point at the very edge. I can't get there. I've never been able to see any information on it. No star patterns, no star pictures, nothing at these exact latitudes and longitudes that I feel I would have to be in order to see these stars split. And then it comes down to you're not just going to look up. You're not just going to look up and see the stars split. You're not just going to look up and see the stars moving away from each other. You would have to do a time-lapse photography in a literal non-moving position that couldn't move up or down or left or right. So you're not going to be able to do it on the ocean, not very easily. And you would have to, in order for you to see that movement, because the stars aren't splitting right. They're not moving in very fast at all. 0.98630 of an arc degree every 3 minutes and 56 seconds.
Cool.
So
That's great that you've measured that, that you've
How
remembered
many-
that number.
how
But
many
something like
miles-
Rigel and Betelgeuse.
How many
What-
miles off the coast? If you went to, oh, sorry, Roohif, you had your question. My question was, can I just say mine and then you can ask yours again
Yeah.
or whatever? Mine was just how many miles off the coast of like Ecuador on the equator would this split be proposed to exist roughly?
At least 6,000. It's at least 6,000 miles. You know where Fiji? I'm sorry, not Fiji. French Polynesian. There's an island called Kiribati. There's one called Jarvis. I'm not sure if Jarvis is on the east coast
Kiribati,
or
by
the
way.
Kiribati. I'm sorry. Okay, that's right. It has a silent S on it apparently. So in those positions, I haven't been able to get any information on that. So as far as the stars, any time lapse photography of the celestial equator or Orion's belt or anything of close to that. So I think you have to go to at least that position, if not further. So I'm saying at least 6,000 miles from Ecuador. So it's going to be at least French Polynesian, a little bit north of that on the celestial equator, but you have to be out at least that far. Because we can only see, I mean, it's not like I can see 7,000 miles. Like I don't see the stars in perspective directly above, let's say, Europe when I'm in America. I mean, I can see the stars over in that area, but I'm not seeing the movement of that stuff at the edges. I can't
Well, let me
see
ask-
that far.
No, I got you on that. But let me ask you this: if we can always see half of the sky, then if you had two people, like one guy's seeing half, the other guy's seeing half, wouldn't they see the split somewhere? If we're seeing the
Yes.
whole thing combined?
Not really, because it's the same thing that I'm talking about with the whole idea of, so you are constrained in what the maps that we run, no matter how you look at it, whether it be when you draw it or whenever anything, because of we're talking about the mileage of what we see as far as the latitude and longitude. It only goes out 12,500 miles from the celestial equator. I'm sorry, from the prime meridian. You can only go 6,000. 250 miles to the east, 6,250 miles to the west, and then that's the edge of our mappable or our measurable latitude and longitude, right? Okay, well, I don't believe that's true. So I don't believe that the actual field, the magnetic field, not the field that we measure, not the latitude and longitude, but I think the magnetic field extends a lot further out than what we are seeing or what we're measuring with our latitude and longitude. So it might happen there. I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't been able to get any information from any pictures or anything of those locations. But I think that even if I was there, I think it would be further. I think that just the magnetic fields don't stop at exactly 6,395 miles from the celestial equator and the prime meridian. I don't see it that way.
All right, I posted your map in the chat. All right. And
Okay.
you've got the, let's say 15 degrees north and 15 degrees south latitudes. If I am, I don't know, where's that, Philippines, Indonesia or somewhere, I'm going to see Rigel and Betelgeuse, which are on opposite sides of celestial equator, miles apart. And then gradually getting closer together as they go overhead.
Okay, I'm looking at the map, and you're saying you're looking at Orion from where? From what location?
Pretty much anywhere. Indonesia, Australia, Papua New Guinea,
Okay,
Japan.
from there. Okay,
Asia.
so
Yep.
you're not looking. So you're saying you're looking north, right? If you're in Australia, if you're looking north, you're not looking to the North Pole. You're looking to the west of this map. As far as you're looking to the right, no, those magnetic lines don't run from Australia straight to the North Pole. They run completely out. So that when you're looking at Orion coming around, you're saying coming around down to the celestial equator, and you're seeing it converge from a long, like the legs and the arms would be so far apart because one's coming from the south, one's coming from the north, right? That's not how it works in my field. These lines are the the latitude and longitude. The electromagnetic lines that run everything else literally go out further, except they are showing you, like where you see that white line for
What are they
0
labeled?
latitude or 15 degrees.
Those
There is
circles with
going to
numbers and degrees in them, what are they?
I'm sorry,
Where
what?
it goes 0 degrees, 15 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, 75.
Right. Those are
90. What
latitude and
are they?
longitude.
Right.
Those are latitude and
So
longitude, not
that's the
not the
lines that stars follow.
no. The stars follow the
Yes.
electromagnetic. Stars follow an electromagnetic field.
What's the declination? What is the declination of a star?
Listen
Tell
to
me.
what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. So yes, that's where we measure them with inside of that field that we're doing, right? But the stars aren't
That is
constrained
where we
to that
measure them.
field.
Yes. That's
But
where we see
I'm
them.
saying right. So when you're looking at Orion, if you're in Australia, you're not looking at the northern field when it comes around. The northern field is represented in the southern field. The northern field that you see in Australia until it gets to the celestial equator is an opposing field that you see in the south. So it goes all the way around the bottom part of that map is a negative or a northern field, the same star patterns on the outside of the bottom of the
So
north.
the stars
same
that
as
when I look north at
Yep.
nighttime and I look into the northern hemisphere stars, they're not the northern hemisphere stars. Like, what are you saying?
No, I'm saying if you were in Australia and you're looking north, which way on that map do you think you're looking? Is it directly up?
Hey guys, can we just while you're continuing, I just pulled up the Ether Cosmology, Alan and Shane's recent new model graphic. Have you seen this, E1? It's actually pretty awesome, dude. They put the dual pole on it, anyways, I have it playing right here. As you guys, and this
Oh
kind
wow! I
yeah,
haven't seen it before.
Yeah, that demonstrates the point
I sent you.
perfectly.
I sent you this earlier. That's the link I sent you.
That's my point.
I don't know if this would
What?
help. I mean, I actually haven't. I've seen this, but I haven't. If someone else wants to share it, where they can, if they're really good at moving all around. But anyways, you guys are talking about the stars, and I know that that map layout might not be the exact one that Ewan's referring to, but this one does allow you to see it down from the ground, where you see like the actual like Instellarium or like the planetarium view. Like you can go into planetarium view, and then you can zoom back out to the overall view. It's pretty interesting, but I just don't know if it would help what you guys are talking about, because you're talking about the star positions, and you see
No,
how
no.
like go
This
ahead.
helps. This helps immensely. So if you can see how everything's spinning there, right?
Yep.
That
You got
is
two
an
little two
electric.
circles of rotation.
Right, but that's an electric current. That is not a magnetic field holding the electric current. So what you would have to imagine, just like with an electric current, not just what you visually see when you put electricity in the water, but you're going to see the opposing field. The same thing that you see on the left side would be going around the outside in an opposing magnetic field. I'm not talking
Where
about
do
the
we see the
kinetic
stars?
movement. What?
Where do we see the stars? Right? Are those little dust particles the stars? Is that what they're
Right. Those,
representative of?
and that's not an electromagnetic field. That is an electric current.
It
That
doesn't
is not
matter.
how.
Is that what the stars are doing?
No, that the
No.
stars are spinning like that, but they're not riding that. Those pieces of whatever they have there are not riding on a magnetic field. They're riding in a magnetic current, or I'm sorry, an electric
Okay.
current in water.
Doesn't matter.
It's not the same.
Is that where the stars are? Do they converge like that and then diverge afterwards?
Yes.
Doesn't matter why. Okay. Cool. That doesn't happen in reality. The end. I've got to go and make some dinner. So good luck. Good luck,
The
anyone
end.
else.
The end. I'm wrong, so I have to leave now. So I can just say you're wrong, and I can just run
No,
off.
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
He wants to be right, dude. Let him be right. It's fine. I don't
Okay.
care. It's
The
not going to hurt
stars
me or
don't
you.
change their angular relationship. Anyway, I'll be back later. See ya.
Bye. Good
They
conversation.
totally
by the
converge
way.
and diverge for sure, no matter what.
But it's the same thing that I'm trying to get out of here. Is the same thing that if you look at the sun, you don't see a field that is complete, or that is a circular field. The fields ebb and flow, pull and push. They're all over the place, and that's what I'm saying to say. There's not just a field like you're seeing there. You're just seeing one magnetic field, one circular like connection of a current through a wire. Well, I'm depicting the same way that you are, the same way that everything here is. If you have a field in this world or in this verse, there are going to be fields next to it. In the same way that I think the stars are, the exact same field that makes the positive and negative, the north and southern, are the opposing fields that are running on the outside. Just like if you were to be able to look at a magnetic field under a water, who was the guy that did? I can't remember who it was. To where you could see magnetic fields in the water, because you'd see the waves of it actually moving the water. So you could see that. If you look at a magnetic wave from an electric current running, or an electromagnetic wave running on a magnetic wave, you will see that it literally has to have the opposing field, no matter what.
So what?
Yeah, it gives it a
I'm
mechanism. It gives it a mechanism for everything too.
So what do the stars come in late? So what do you say the stars don't run along the equatorial line, say a star on the equator? It moves depending on what's the bit there? I didn't get that. Can you explain that, please?
What it moves on?
Hey
Yeah,
Dave,
what-
check
what-
it out,
what-
dude. You could
what-
put the tropics. You could put the tropics and the equator on there. This is pretty sweet.
Whatever. Yeah. So what's the rail? I guess a magnetic rail. What holds the star to it? And like that's what I didn't quite grasp. So can you just
So the
elaborate
same.
on that?
So we have a magnetic field here on the ground. It goes up to approximately 61 miles, 61 and a half miles, to where you can't use, I think it's even lower than that, you can't use the compass, or it's not accurate. right? When you get up above that point, there is such, and it's even before that point, there's such an electromagnetic field. Whether you want to talk about energy in the sky, electromagnetics, ion electricity, all that kind of stuff. But there's a magnetic field up there, and that magnetic field, in my understanding, I'm not saying that I can prove all of this or anything, but that magnetic field is a rail, or almost like two record players put together, and what they're riding on is a current of either static charge or some type of charge that's on the outside of any item, whether you talk about the sun, the moon, the planets, not the stars. The stars are running up above on a flat thing, but the sun, the moon, the stars, and all that kind of stuff are running because their charge is at, it charges up during the summer, it gets to the, it springs up, it charges up, and then it gets to the summer solstice, and then at that point it loses its charge and it falls down to the bottom. The stars, I believe, are riding on top of that, and what's moving them, I'm not sure about the mechanism, what it gives it the pulse or the frequency, the what you see in the sky, the modulation, but they're riding on top of that magnetic field. That is the difference between the electromagnetic field that runs everything above us, the sun, the stars, all that kind of stuff, and the energy we see in the sky, and the magnetic field that we live within. It's almost like two donuts sitting on top of each other, and that interaction between the two donuts is where is what stops everything. Like you said, what they're riding on the cushion of that donut, the skin of that donut of an electromagnetic field. So if you looked at it from the side, if you're looking at the sun coming around every single day and it's going through its analemma, the analemma to me is only just the sun's positioning on the outside of that donut. When it's in the northern, it gives you the top part, or the right part, or the northern part of the figure eight. As it crosses around the outside of the skin, it crosses back over to the southern donut and is still following that skin, and it follows just like it would look like a figure eight, falling down through the donut, climbing up, falling down, always going through a cycle, running on this ecliptic, or this magnetic rail that never goes above 23.4 degrees in the north, never goes below 23.4 degrees in the south, but the stars are riding on top of it, I believe. I think they're moving because of the movement of the element of the I'm not sure if the sun is almost like the windmill, or the I shouldn't say the windmill, the prop moving it, but you know that it's not the energy or not the mover, because the stars move faster than the sun. Stars move faster, the sun moves the second, then it progressively goes down through the planets from there, as far as how fast they're moving around. So it seems like it's all a modulation, just almost like the Indians beat, the dun 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 dun. That's what I see when I do my time-lapse photography of all the stars, and you get this pinwheel, the full pinwheel of the stars, the modulation of it inside of it, and it looks just like that: a large beat and then three small beats. And I think that's all to do with that. It's just a magnetic flux, and we're seeing the difference of the either the electric energy or the ultraviolet energy that's bouncing off of those stars, or that Mercury or whatever, as it's moving. I don't know if I answered your question about what it's exactly riding on, but it's a magnetic field.
Well, the bit that got me stood out there, because that was quite a lot, and I can't really unpack it all because I have forgotten a bit, but you just said that bit there towards the end where the stars go faster than the sun, but that's kind of not what I see. If as the sun's going down, the stars are coming up at about the same rate. Naturally, you don't see the stars during the daytime, but the moon travels about the same speed as the sun, as the stars do. I don't see a differential.
Oh my goodness.
Really?
In short term.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the stars move approximately 72 miles an hour faster at the equator every moment, as far as how it works. It's 0.98, 6301, 698, 396801 of an arc degree every 3 minutes and 56 seconds, so that you know that the stars are moving faster. We know this because you see a different sky depending on whether it's the winter or the summer, and you're seeing 180 degrees different at, let's say, midnight in your location, as opposed to in summer as in winter, and we're talking December and June. You will see 180 degrees different in the sky, and it's mathematical in its equation. As far as the sun goes around, the stars go around 1 degree approximately 1 degree faster every day. The moon is 12. The sun goes around 365 times. I'm sorry. The sun goes around in 1 day and 24 hours. The moon goes around in I don't know exactly how. It's shorter. It's slower. It takes longer for it to go around. So you can see that it falls back through the system. That's why we get the. I mean, you're not going to agree with this, or most people aren't going to agree, but that's why we get the cycles of the moon, the phases of the moon, is because the sun is going around the same ecliptic or the same circle, and the moon is not. It does it 12 times. The sun does it 1 time in a year. And I'm surprised though. I really didn't.
No,
I didn't
what I'm
think it was
saying is,
contentious.
okay, full moon comes up about sundown as the sun goes down. Full moon, the moon rises. There's a star about 5 degrees off, to the left of it. If I go out there later in the night, like say 4 a.m., 10 hours later, that star seemingly it's possibly moved a 15th of a degree, but it's still in the same spot. It hasn't moved faster per se. Not like say compared to that map up there. I think the numbers, the dynamics don't seem to match for me. That's what I'm not understanding. Just
Wow,
from
I
an
didn't think that
observer's
was.
point of view, they
These
don't
aren't
really move.
disputable. I think that even
Yes,
the globe model says there's a difference. Like,
Yeah, I'm not seeing I mean, I know what you're saying. I do. I understand what you're having a problem with is what you're saying, but I didn't think this was contentious information because.
Well, no, it does rotate. The moon does move across the sky over 30 days. The moon is in a different position. In fact, there is no dark side of the moon. There is the other side, the far side.
Okay, but you do know the sun comes across the sky and the moon comes across the sky, and every 28 and a half days the moon bypasses the sun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do know that the sun and the moon are moving at, whether it's relative or not, the distance that is traveled across the sky from the horizon to horizon is different between the sun and the moon. You do know
distance
that.
they travel.
As far as the sun takes less time to go across the sky than the moon takes to go across the sky.
Well, that is.
So you don't. You think they take the same time.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So if you were to time the
speed.
sun, yeah, if you were to time the sun when it came up over the horizon and then it set at the horizon, do you think it's the same amount of time that it's up over the horizon as it is for the sun?
Well, the moon's done the same thing, but it's not. This is really confusing. But look, can I just?
I know it is. It is very confusing because my next question is going to be. My next question is going to be: Is the stars do it at the same speed as the sun and the moon?
Well, on a rotating sphere, you're looking out at a whole bunch of. So, hang on, are the stars different distances from us on your model here?
Not different elevations, but different distances as far as spatial distance in front of you or to the left or right. I don't think that you're going to go up to the stars or where the stars are, and I don't think one's at 500,000 miles and the other one's at 5 light years. I just don't. My model doesn't have it like that. They're all on a flat plane. To an extent. I mean, there's going to be a little bit different. You probably have, just like the sun goes through its analemma. You could have
so
the
on
sun.
that flat plane, the sun must actually travel a lot further in the southern hemisphere towards summer than it does in the northern hemisphere. And I don't understand there's a mechanism for the slowing and speeding up of that unless it's on a
Okay, there's not. It's not like that. So you're thinking of the AE map as it gets a bigger circle. It is a taller circle because the analemma is taller, not longer, but taller in the southern hemisphere than it is, and it all has to do with, in my mind, charge. You charge something up, it holds tighter to the magnetic field, not closer, but tighter to the magnetic field. When you discharge, it's looser. So the same way that if you're charging up and discharging through the analemma as the sun's running through those fields, when it gets to the southern hemisphere, it's going to be looser held onto it, no matter what it is, the sun, the moon, anything that's running through the analemma. But, damn it, I forgot what I was going to say right here. Hold on, give me 1 second. So you read it through the analemmas, you read through the charge, and it runs up. What did you ask? I think that's what I lost.
Well, you got so into the weeds there, which always happens. We were talking about time. Look, what I just wanted to point out is where I am right now on my weather chart. The sun rose today at 5.
Move at different speeds.
The sun rose at 5:45 p.m. Sorry, sunset. It will rise tomorrow at 7:14 a.m. Now, I haven't got the moon on this chart, but just say the moon was in a full phase, it was the opposite. Well, it would be the same amount of minutes between moonset and moonrise. Like, they take the same amount of time because they're on a rotating ball. And that's what all the weather
So
look at that.
The different rates is so the sun is 24 hours for one whole rotation, through its whole circuit. The moon
23.
No. The sun is 24. The sun is 24. The moon is 24 hours and 50 minutes. So it's 50 minutes in addition. So 24 hours, 50 minutes. That's why the moon is slower. The sun is faster.
Which is where you get your slower.
Yeah, and then the sidereal day is 23 hours and 56 minutes. So that's roughly 4 minutes less than the 24. So the stars are going the fastest. The sun is only going 4 minutes slower at 24 hours, and then the moon is going 50 minutes slower than both of them.
50 minutes, is it? Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, 24 hours. It takes 24 hours and 50. Takes 24 hours and 50 minutes for the moon to make its entire circuit.
Right, there's a whole analogy with the tortoise and the hare with the moon and the sun, right? Because
that's why we get the phases. The difference of that 50 minutes is why we get the new moon and the full moon every month.
Well, yeah, every 30 days it's done a complete lapse. So yes, I was going to get to the stage off before you jumped on me there. I was going to say it's still about the same time minus the error of the rotational phase, which I think is 30. So 0.0, I think it's one. I've got 90 in my head for 1/90th there. So, yeah, but realistically, they're still about the same, which really works quite well and is quite neat on a sphere, but it's all over the place like a mad woman shit on a rotating flat disc. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to start a fight, guys.
But see, I'm not talking about a rotating flat disc. I'm talking about two rotating discs above a flat plane that intermingle together because they're an electromagnetic field, not because they're two discs. It's not like there's two discs that are literally bringing stars around. They're fields that the stars are held within. So it's a lot different than what you're visually describing or what you're trying to point it as a disc.
Dave, are you seeing this screen share, dude? I just turned on.
No, I'm not.
I just turned on GP tracking, and it tracks all the GPs.
Mm-hmm. According to that transform, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is pretty sweet looking, though, dude. Check that
now,
out.
There's a thing about do the sun real quick because I was going to ask E1 about this. Because when I did the first GIF of the sun movements, and it has the sun. It would kind of like the first one I just tested out, similar to the way the concave moon or dark light would work. And I think this does a similar thing where it has like that circle of darkness that you hated and you didn't think there was like a circle of darkness in the same way there's a circle of light through the middle of the poles. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking to me? Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. You don't think it does that for a certain reason, or you just don't like the way it looks, or because it has it like see how that wraps around like that?
I don't see where you guys are talking about. I'm looking at
go to Geo's click on Geo's box and you'll see screen sharing
thing. So
I was looking at the
graphics.
chat. I'm sorry.
Wait, is this going to show what you want? Are you talking about this light pattern?
Yeah, well, that's supposed to be the umbra of the sun, right? That wraps around there.
Yeah.
Oh, now I see what you're talking about. Okay. So
So this is the model. I sent you the link earlier in the text,
yes,
by the way.
yes, that's exactly it. But the only problem is that that is a moving, a variable circle, or I like to call it the sword's edge or the axe edge. See how it moved around and went around and it turned into, like I said, the knife's edge or the axe edge. That's going to be ever changing, so it's never going to look like that the next day. It's
But
always
look how
going
it
to be.
wraps out around the outside, like the concave does. Like it has that
Yep.
effect that you hated before. I thought it doesn't
No,
wrap
I like
around
the wraparound. I don't like the circle in the center because you wouldn't have a perfect circle from the two opposing fields. They would have to be something like a complete oblong, or it would have that circle couldn't be a circle. It would have to be an oblate circle, or it'd have to be bigger on the bottom. Just the way that the magnetic fields would have to grab the light, even if it was ions.
Would there be ever the light surrounding the dark? I think this is showing like nighttime could be the dark circle in the middle, and the light, and somehow the sunlight's wrapping around that dark area for the dual.
Well,
you didn't like that interpretation before, is all I was trying to point out.
I don't think that that's possible, but it's
Yeah.
I can't say for sure.
Wait, are you saying
Yeah.
this light pattern right now? What it's showing? Are you saying this light pattern? Is that what you're?
Is that supposed to be the sun, the dark and the light exchanging right there?
Right. So I like this part of it where it shows the sun on the, it's lighting up everything. But as soon as it backs around, it goes around the outside edges of everything. Right there looks fine. Right there it doesn't. When it starts bringing the darkness around, I don't think the darkness looks like that because I can't visually see that on any observable images, any observable videos, no matter if it's a ball or a NASA or whatever. You don't see that ball getting down to the umbra of either the shadow or the sun doing that. It doesn't do that specifically. So that's the problem, is that we're still held within the constraint of that 12,500 mile an hour, or 12,500 mile diameter circle.
Yeah. Yeah, there's constraints on the sphere. If it's a transform of the spherical graticule, this is the result that makes some of these things not necessarily match up with reality, is what I was trying to get at.
Well, it's just like this. If I look at that image that he has right there and I say, this is a machine, this is what I depict my engine or whatever, and it's a magnetic field that runs all of this, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what I'm depicting. The magnetic field would not stop at that circle. Even if I had an engine sitting there, an alternator or a generator, the magnetic field would extend way past that circle or the casing of the alternator.
That's why it has to wrap around the edges.
It's
constrained.
Yep. That's how I kind of describe it, I guess.
I need to make a better GIF probably for the sun, the way the sun works. We have to track the GPs of the sun because, there's contentions with the way the sun sets over, California, and it seems like it goes in a slightly different direction than the GIF maybe makes it seem. We'll have to
I think that's going to have to do with what we don't know. So the same way that I can't describe or I can't demonstrably show you what happens out there at those extremes, at those anomalous areas, is the same reason why you can't give a visual representation of what you see, let's say in Egypt, Australia, or America, and then put them together, because we are literally positioned in a different point of the electromagnetic field, to where it's not so much that you're not going to see things, but the reality is that if things are moving in a magnetic field and you're in a different position, if you're on the outside of that magnetic field or the inside, not only are things going to be moving in a different position, and the observer that's viewing it's going to see it move different, but it literally won't be held within the same metrics that you're using, because it's just like the overlays. If I was at 35 degrees and I had an overlay, I can't use that same 35-degree overlay if I went all the way out to 0 degrees latitude. Everything changes.
You have the dome of vision too. You understand that concept that you're using a lot for the explanation.
Yeah.
So your
Yeah.
dome of vision creates a whole nother illusion on top of the distances you are different from where you used to be or whatever.
Well, that's what I kind of look at the overlays as. I'm not saying they are the observables viewable dome or whatever the observer can see, but it does change as far as how far you can see out or what you're measuring as far as what latitude I am. That conical thing that I'm using to measure whether it's declination or azimuth or whatever they're saying for the stars literally changes to a small little circle when I get up to the 70th parallel or latitude. If I go down to the 0, it takes up the entire transparency, the entire overlay. So
It's a matter of how close you are to the Polaris.
kind of. I don't know if it's Polaris or if it's the field itself that does it. As far as the closeness to Polaris or the closeness to whatever the anomalous. So, like if I'm going through the ocean, right? There's certain places in the ocean that there's undersea mountains that completely mess it to where you thought you were going to the north or to the west, but you get next to this mountain, all of a sudden everything changes. The same thing can happen.
Oh, your
with
compass readings changes?
Yes.
Interesting. Just like they were saying with the mountain having some kind of a attraction, there's a whole joke about it. We talk about that they were skewing the results of the curvature by saying a mountain nearby messed with the plumb bob. But go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
well,
Yeah.
mountains. There's all kinds of mountains. If you go into the deserts of Saudi Arabia, or even I don't know. There's many deserts or many places that you can go that there's iron mountains or lots of iron in the mountains that completely mess up your
Oh, okay.
compass.
That's interesting.
And
That would
they
make
know.
sense.
I mean, they know that it's like that. So you know that when you get to this point, you either have anomalous readings or you have to adjust your compass readings by 17 degrees for every nautical, 60-minute nautical change or whatever the case may be. They know about this stuff. So if you take the same principles of that, as far as the magnetic readings and all that kind of stuff, and you put it on a grand scale, as far as if you do have to change your metrics for when you're measuring stars at a certain latitude, if you had to change your metrics for just moving that latitude, it might be the same for your visual cortex as far as how the ions, how the light is received or moved through the magnetic field might be completely different. I shouldn't say completely, might move in an anomalous movement through the arc degrees different than what it would if you were at the different latitude, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It seems like that definitely. If we are on a dual pole flat Earth with the magnetic field lines creating pretty much all of the spreading of the light and everything that we see with refraction, maybe even they've conflated like the curvature of the Earth with the bending of these field lines. It's the perfect illusion.
I don't even know if anybody was conflating anything, dude. I really don't. I don't just subscribe to that as far as what they were doing with that. I think it's all intentional as far as this was all designed to be like this. I don't think they
intentionally conflated is what I'm saying.
Okay.
On purpose to give the illusion of curvature. They just saw that the field lines bend from pole to pole, and you could just make it a ball pretty easily in someone's mind, make them believe they're on it.
Yeah.
By conflating all that aspects.
There's another
of the
point to this
electromagnetic
too,
field.
is that these people that are all gung-ho about, and I'm not talking about who we're talking to now or who are listening now or anything like that, but the people that were in control of the Admiralty, the Freemasons, the kingdoms, the Pharisees and that stuff that literally gave us our basic understanding of what's happening here with the stars, latitude and longitude, all that kind of stuff and this and that. What if they weren't nefarious? What if they're just wrong?
Well, that's what we've discussed that. Yeah. Doesn't seem like if it's reverse engineered by the people that created it to begin with, they reverse engineered it. They'd have to know.
Well, no. Well, I'm not saying that somebody doesn't know, but maybe
A lot of the people in the industry believe it full-heartedly. Yeah,
that's what I mean. That it's not that they're lying, and it's not that they know the actual facts. It's just that they believe that, or they've been to the assumption of that, and the people that are in control know. Well, hell, if these people believe this shit, this is what we should go ahead and use. So
Well,
I
now
don't
it's
know.
a matter of I mean, the best, like I was saying the other day, like is the most credit or the most benefit of the doubt I could give is that even the people sometimes that are defending it maybe know kind of intuitively that it looks like it's flat. We're not moving. That definitely resonates. But for the good of society, I have to still like enforce this globe idea because if everyone did find it, if it got too out of hand, it could be like kind of detrimental for a while for everyone, like we talked about earlier.
Oh, it'd be so detrimental because it wouldn't just be one facet of life. This would go into every facet. Just the space industry, just technology, just fuck, dude. There's so many things that just would crumble if not even if it was true, not even if it was true, but if people were aware or people started thinking that they were being lied to or that this wasn't the truth, even if it's not the truth, it would be enough to pull down every system that's connected to it.
But what
And
it
there's
really
so
is, what I've asked myself sometimes, like if they just announce that like most people agree, even if most people don't agree or calling bullshit, a lot of them wouldn't even know because they're just assuming that most people actually buy it. As long as
but
the
that's
news
what I'm
tells
saying.
them
It's
that
not a
most
matter
people
of them
bought it.
saying it. I don't care whether they announce it. That's
Mhm.
not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people actually being aware. It's like the 100th monkey. If you teach one monkey
Yeah.
how to get something out of a jar, and most of them will just hold their head. And once you teach them, once that monkey starts teaching it, once 100 monkeys, all of them know it. It's
But then
like
what
that.
would we really do? Like we're so anesthetized by our phones and our comforts, and they've got the technology there to meet us with,
You would
just
fight
escape
against it.
escape rather than fighting against it. Most
Most of
people
us
will not pick up a
would
gun
fight.
instead of their cell phone.
No, 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 no. It's completely opposite of what you're. At least in my mind, it's completely opposite. If that happened, if they came out and started telling everybody, and they were trying to make people aware of this type of stuff, and they wanted people to, and all that kind of stuff, people are going to fight to keep that paradigm.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's probably true. Roohif for sure. Others.
We've seen it time and time again with religion. We've seen it time and time again with science theories. We've seen it time and time again with just opinions on anything. Even me and you do it.
Yeah,
You
sure.
you argue about your opinion or the way that you see reality.
Because you want to
Even
make sure that it's not, still valid. You have to put all your effort in
well,
before you let it
well,
go.
I was even saying when you're wrong. So if you're in a fight with your
Sure.
significant other, your girlfriend, whatever, even if it's just somebody you love, your family, and you know you're wrong, a lot of times people are going to fight because it would just kill their paradigm or kill whatever they're trying to do at
Oh, yeah,
that point.
especially if they've been fighting for it, like almost knowing they're wrong, and then the more they dig their heels in, the worse it can get because then they can't let it go. Now they've done some kind of injustice or like insult on top of being wrong. And so
And that's
the
why it was
whole
so hard for me to
mind
even
control of it.
understand. Yeah, the mind. Yeah, exactly, the mind control of it. And that's the point that I had problems with when I started realizing or becoming with the understanding that we are all connected. Everything pretty much is running on a conscious
Frequencies.
level that we are, well, frequencies, but a conscious level that we, our consciousness that we all connect into. It's not something that I really want. I think that hurts a lot of the things that I looked at as far as how reality was. So
I mean,
knowing,
it's harder to be selfish and just enjoy
well,
life.
not just be selfish, but to even. So if I think that me, you, and everybody listening here are in one way the same, not we aren't the same person, but we're all one. We're all from the same source. We're all from the same way of living. How could I even question you? So I can question you, but there's no benefit for me or you for me questioning you if me and you have the same uh, awareness or same understanding of what's going on
Oh,
in this
no, it could
world.
be even more because now that we know we're all one, we have to agree. We can't be one and disagree at the same time. So I think that's why this hive mind thing is kind of the internet and question about some of these bigger things. Like we're fighting because the paradigm is kind of agreed upon on an unconscious level.
Well, I think we're fighting because that's what we're made to do. We're experiencing ourself. So if I fight with you, or whatever, it's because I or it or everything wanted that experience. Whether anybody believes that or not, things happen because either one party, both parties, or a third party is interacting to make these things happen. Whether you make a decision, things happen.
Yeah.
You
There's the
see what I'm
control
saying?
from the outside, and then there's like the.
So if you look at it as from a conscious, if we all are one, there's a reason why we're here, why you are experiencing reality the same way I am experiencing reality, but it's not the same experience. It's the same reality, but it's not the same experience. That's how I look at what I'm looking at. If I go to, it's hard for me to deal with this as far as what I'm saying, as opposed to what my understanding of reality was, because that's the problem I'm having. It's the same thing with the person that either believes in God and then all of a sudden is shown that they can't believe in God, or a person that doesn't believe in God and is all of a sudden shown that they can't not do anything but believe in God. It's the same way I'm looking at this. It really hurts me and hurts my understanding of things to know that we kind of are connected, whether it's fully connected to we are one, or that we're from the same energy source, or we're pulling from the same conscious thing, whatever it is. It really hurts my ability.
Well, yeah, especially
to
if it gets deep
accept.
enough to think of it as like a worldwide thing with all the suffering going on outside of our own country or whatever. If you're taking on the
Right.
empathy of all that, that could definitely hurt.
Because then I look at God, or what people say God is, and all the different variations of all of it, and then I look at the nothingness, like an atheist looks at it and saying, and it can't be, in my mind, it can't be that there is a correct religion. They're all wrong.
Yep,
But they all have some parts of truth within. All of them have some parts of the
most
truth
likely
together.
Exactly, that would make the most sense.
Okay, so if I just take that and go into my conscious and start thinking about the connection between you, me, and everything, I do the same thing. We're all wrong. Me and you are wrong, but we
Thank
have a little
God.
bit.
Thank
Yeah,
God we're wrong. If we knew the
exactly.
answer, there would be no more journey.
Yes.
There would be no more questing. That's what life's all about: is the seeking, right? Not the finding
And I'm
or
not
the
saying you're wrong
assuming.
about everything.
Thanks.
I'm just
I
saying,
appreciate that.
and I'm not saying I'm wrong about everything. I'm just saying we are all
I doubt
wrong,
that.
but we hold a little bit of truth, and that's how I look at the.
Sure, it has to work that way though. When you think about it, it couldn't just be all one thing, one right way for one right person to know. It have to have the balance, and it all has to be like the chaos and grace, right? Like the unpredictability factor has to be there, but it also has to work in like an overall systematic way for
Yeah,
it
but we're
to
all trying to
have
find
that.
that, whether
Sure,
it's
we're
religion,
always,
whether
that's the
it's science.
paradox we're born into. We're always seeking what we can never find necessarily.
That's where I'm having the problem, because if that's true, then what am I doing? Why am I trying to figure out all this stuff when it doesn't matter? I'm never going to figure it out. Whether I do figure it out, what is it going to change?
Aren't you having fun?
I'm not saying I'm not. No, I do all kinds of weird stuff, dude. I rock climb. I fucking motorcycle
Right.
ride. I fucking
Isn't this part
spelunk
of it
down
though?
in
The
the.
figuring out, isn't that a form of fun, or a form of gratification that you got closer than other, than, or you helped other people get an insight on how it could work with a dual pole, even or whatever. It's
To a
like
point, yes.
sharing
No, I'm
us.
not
It's
saying
like
I don't
sharing
have
us
fun like
all.
that.
That's like seeing us all as one, right?
But in one sense, you get an awareness and a understanding and enjoyment. Don't get me wrong, you get enjoyment, but you lose a lot. You lose the naivety. You lose the innocence. You lose the connection
Yeah.
between people who cannot understand why you. Not even that you think this, that you would even say it, that you would even
Oh yeah.
have a notion of doing that. So that's where I see that you have payoffs.
Trade-offs.
Just like that thing. Trade-offs. I'm sorry. If you look at somebody who is dumb or stupid. I shouldn't say dumb, not ignorant, but actual stupid. They not always, but most of the time, live a very happy or
Yeah,
go-lucky life
sometimes, yeah.
compared to somebody who has awareness or who is very intelligent. And that's all I'm
Yeah, the
getting.
autistic kids or whatever.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And the more right you are, the more ostracized you often are.
And like you guys said, if they're not very intelligent, they don't know. So
Yep.
it's
Right.
annoying.
Definitely.
They don't even know to be sad about it. They're like,
Nope.
"Huh."
Damn,
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten some of that Downs.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I think.
Where Brazil doesn't.
This animation is hilarious, dude. This is the 24-hour sun on the globe. Like, do folks really think we're in an azimuthal grid upside down on the bottom of a ball with the sun going
explanation
around like
for
this?
any half the people
look
that
so
say it
funny
proves
on
that
this.
it's a ball don't even realize this is what they're trying to say, and it's 93 million miles away as well.
This is Will Duffy's most favorite observation. This is it, an upside down azimuthal grid on a
Yep.
ball.
That's the only thing that would make sense, Gio.
I mean, I know they don't say it's upside down; it's all relative, but this is just funny seeing it this way. Sorry, I'm not trying to.
It is.
combo, but
I didn't even see it doing that as far as when it added that dome
That's
thing
what it
on
would
the
have
bottom.
to be.
there it is, dude. There's your azimuthal grid in Antarctica, 24-hour sun.
Can you
This is
talk about
this is the biggest part of the psyop is they've got people thinking math is reality, models are reality. As long as you can model it and make it work, doesn't matter if you're upside down and have no idea that you're upside down relative to other people. That's not as important as the model and the maths. They've literally gotten people relative retarded.
So do you think it's something like this? I mean, this shows like a physical kind of sun up there. So I know that, you know, but this does show the sun. That's like a 24-hour sun in Antarctica right there.
Makes
Oh,
more
yeah.
sense than a monopole for the 24 in the both areas for sure.
And I think this is a physical object. The sun is a physical object. Yeah, for sure.
That's a crazy one too. Yeah, who knows about that? That's a hard one to. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
the
you
reason
obviously can't prove it.
I have to come up with that is because of not the incandescent light, or not only the incandescent light, so the direct sunlight that I get that warms me up, that heats up the world, but then you also get the ultraviolet and the non-direct sunlight, which is not from the sun. It's the UV light, and you can see this just many different ways, but the rainbow is one. You've got the first observable rainbow that is, a full spectrum split, and then you have the second rainbow, which is 1/3 of the distance from the first rainbow as it is from the observer to the first rainbow. So 1/3.
And the colors are inverted. Yeah.
And they're inverted. So you can see that is one way to see this. The other way, as far as so that you can see that there's a difference between a light spectrum that you can feel with heat and see with your light spectrum, and then there's a light spectrum that literally enacts on all the gases, and all the inert gases and active are not inert gases that are in the sky, the nitrogen, oxygen, kryton, xenon, argon, all that kind of stuff to give us the colors. And you can see this by that rainbow. And if you go outside and you hold up a board or something that's very solid up against a wall, that's either, it can be concrete, but it's got to be very smooth or very slick. However, you can't have porous stuff and be textured or anything. You can see that there is two visible light spectrums coming from the sun, and you can see that because you have a shadow. You have two shadows off the sun. You have the ultraviolet, or the light that's created from the ultraviolet through the gases, and you have the incandescent light, so that you can see that there's an actual physical object giving off light, but there's also light that isn't coming from that physical object. It's coming from the umbra, or the just the off-putting of the ultraviolet light, that is because of that element.
Like the difference between the daylight and the direct sunlight. What do you mean?
Sort of. So like you would have direct sunlight, so you have sunlight that comes through, but you also have, when the sun comes up over the horizon, you see light. There's light, but you're not seeing the sunlight. You're not seeing direct spectrum, incandescent light. Like a fire burning or an electric current, an arc. You're not seeing that type of light. What you're seeing is an ultraviolet, um, energetic of an ultraviolet energetic powering of the gases around the sun. That's why you get the light blues and the whites and the color changes before you even see the sun at night. And then when it goes down, or before you see the sun in the morning, and then when it goes down, it's not the same. Now you get the actual argon is being distilled in the sky, or below the sun in the atmosphere. It's being distilled from nitrogen to argon. And now you get the reds and the oranges as the sun goes away. So you get those hues of that actual light. You still get the incandescent light. You still have the direct sunlight, the yellow and the white. But when when the sun goes through and it mixes up and distills the argon out of nitrogen, now you've got argon gas being lit up as deep reds and oranges and purples.
Yeah, and everything's been excited, so it's a totally different experience with the sunset and the sunrise.
Right, but I'm just trying to get to the point that that's what makes me think it's an actual object, because you not only have one type of light, you have two types of light, and it doesn't, at least in
It's not
my
consistent
personal,
enough to just be
I can describe why it's happening. It's not just that it's just, it's light there. I know that it's happening because of the offing of ultraviolet light. The same reason that I know that the ultraviolet light that's giving us all this beautiful sunsets and sunrises is the same thing that's making the stars blink, the moon glow in that phosphorus low fluorescent light, or that cool light, because it's not incandescent, it's the ultraviolet.
The mechanics of it are so crazy that, it's no wonder that, the idea of some type of, crazy, all-powerful being making it happen is a popular idea.
Yeah, no, I can understand why people believe it, but it really does go to show you see all kinds of people from all different disciplines of science and mechanics and whether it be fluid dynamics or whatever. When these people, whoever they are, whatever time they came out or were discovered, they are always engines that run off of water, Tesla making energy out of the sky. Sure. They're always disappeared. So it's kind of like if you raise your hand or scream loud enough that you know what's going on and you can figure this stuff out, I'm not saying you're going to be killed, but you're definitely going to be either ostracized as a crazy person, or they're going to figure out a way to make it to where they pay you to shut up, or they just remove
or hire
the ability.
Hire you, buy you out, or whatever, possibly
dismiss you, disappear you, whatever the case may be.
You can't fuck with the billionaire's pocket. The billionaires have enough money to protect their billions.
But I don't think it only goes to the things like that. I think it goes to not just water cars, not just the ethereal energy, not just. I think it comes down to anything that would even come close to removing the power from any of religious, secular governments. When they realize these people are smart enough to figure out things that they can't, they are wanting control to keep quiet. They have to do something. I'm not saying they will. They always do it. They have to do something, and we see that they've done it. So I think that somebody that came up with this stuff, or the people that are smart enough to figure out all the ins and outs, even the shit that I can't figure out, that know the beyond what I've even thought about. I think that they are already out there. I think they've already done it. I believe that they've either been disappeared or they've been controlled.
Sure.
There's another conspiracy theory for whoever that guy was.
Well, that's an obvious one, though. We hear about those type of stories. I don't know about how much of the recent thing with the scientists disappearing is hype or partially real, but We hear about that kind of thing with the the water engine and all that for sure. It makes sense that it would work that way.
Well, what do you think that they're disappearing the scientists? What are they saying as far as what are you seeing that they're
I
saying?
haven't
they're
really paid much attention to it, to be honest. I just
Oh.
know the story about David Wilcox and some of these other people that supposedly disappeared that were on the, talking about some of the stuff like, I think that's the reason it seems very suspicious. Is because these scientists were like reifying some of the psyops that they had, like talking about aliens or something, like they're going to give away the alien secret.
Well, it wasn't aliens,
that's why.
but okay. I see. What you're
I'm
talking
sorry.
about.
You pay more attention to the news than I do.
No, I was
Go
just
ahead.
wondering how you looked at it as far as why you thought the scientists or what you were under the impression that the scientists were disappearing for, it's
like I said, I haven't really studied much except for the one TikTok video or something. But go ahead.
Uh-oh. Well, no, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of quantum and AI is what a lot of them were trying to.
Oh yeah, that's the other part of it. Yep.
That's why they were
Sure.
disappearing because they were coming up with the understanding. All of the people that have been disappearing were coming up with the understanding that something was going wrong, that they aren't able to control not just the entity, the AI entity or how it's going, but the parameters of the people that are paying for all this, like Sam Altman and all these people. They aren't the ones that are controlling this stuff. So when a scientist comes out that's the furthermost, the top fucking programmer or engineer of a quantum computer or quantum system that's starting to talk about generative AI that they've spent $600 billion on and goes, this is all a lie. This isn't happening and this we can't do and this we can't control. That's when they're disappearing.
Yeah, because they're blowing the whistle on the quantum computer psyop.
Or they're questioning it. They're questioning the I don't know the right word.
The abilities of it.
No, they know what the abilities are. That's not. I mean, they are. You're right. No, I shouldn't say that. They are some of them are questioning the abilities, but they're questioning the ethics of what they're doing.
Oh.
And when the ethics of what, not them personally, but what the whole system will eventually have to be, you can't. If people understood that they are literally creating something that is going to kill them, they are literally creating something that's going to put them in a prison. They are literally creating something that's going to make it to where every government that is control of their people is going to be able to do that control on such the minute thing that they're going to be able to control whether you fart twice a day or once a day. I'm using that as an example, but if we knew that, you would never, ever even contemplate building AI systems.
Yeah, but that could be also a psyop that they're, like I was saying earlier, it could be
You're
that
right.
they want to make you afraid of the AI so they can use it to kill you and blame it on the AI.
So do you think
whatever.
who's trying to convince you of it? Is it the scientists that disappeared, the people that disappeared the scientists, or the system that is just keeping them going along? Which one's
well, first of all, I look at it this way. If there's somebody that's supposedly a whistleblower, quote unquote, or whatever, talking, on YouTube and then they don't have like that many subs, that's one thing. It's not going to be anything they would worry about, even if he is telling the truth. But if he has a platform that's actually reaching people and there's, most people are still convinced that they don't have control over like almost every piece of alt media as well as the general media that people get on their TV. So, and it's been reported a lot about these missing scientists. So anything they put in front of your face, if everyone's heard about it, it's probably just a psyop within a psyop. Because they're not worried. They're not worried about people figuring shit out and doing anything. Go ahead, sorry.
I just had a general. I'm not even okay. This is just an idea. Like, what if they were to say, because they're trying to say it's like people from NASA and people that work in aerospace, like they're trying to build up. And what if they're going to try to run some narrative? It just made me. It's just one thought. I'm not. It's just like a speculative idea. That what if they tried to run a narrative where they're like, oh, the aliens were like taking out these like advanced people, to somehow like block them from cracking the alien code or something to that extent, and they're like,
that's one of the narratives they're already running with, right?
Project Blue Book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was part of the assumption of when they ran the whatever you want to call it, the program, the skit or whatever for Project Blue Book, the same way they did the Event 201, all that kind of stuff. They were to use exactly what you're talking about, as far as that they would use this event or people disappearing to say, like you said, oh, well, that's where these people are going. It must be the aliens. Now they hit you with Project Blue Book and start showing you aliens in the sky, cities, angels and devils and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's possible what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's like was it Iron Mountain, the whole thing that they wrote up in the Kennedy era, with like now that we have like a handle on what we can actually do with war, and there's going to be like the military industrial complex. Funding for that's going to get hard unless we try to like booster these other environmental threats, alien threats, computer technology threats, hacker threats. I mean, half of the stuff that we're aware of is probably just one of their agents acting as the problem that they have a solution for.
Yep, I agree. Sorry, I was taking a hit.
Nice.
Yeah, I really would hate to say that they're definitely going to do that, but they have to do something to fix what they've done already. People don't believe the governments, not just the United States government. We don't believe the governments in what they say they're doing with our money, what they say they're doing with the, whether it be
But do they care? Do they count the votes? Do we have a say? Do we have any say?
the
Does it
government. No,
really
they
even
don't.
matter?
No, they don't. Not at all. But we never did. Even the government doesn't have a say in what's happening.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
we can see
Exactly.
that. We
As
can
long as they report the stats that everyone is buying it, how would anyone
that.
know that people aren't buying it?
Well, I think I realized this, and I'm sure everybody else realized it. It doesn't matter if you get the Pope with the president, the vice president, and everybody else. They are lying about what they say, not just about one thing. And I'm not saying about everything. They have to lie in order to keep the control over the people, whether it be the
Yeah.
religious people, whether it be the constituents, whether it be the voters, whether it be the electric vote or the electoral vote. There is reasonings why they have to lie. And we all see that
Yeah.
they're lying, and we all agree that they're not. I shouldn't say we all agree.
Well,
The
anyone
system runs.
that thinks far enough into it and sees the system like we were talking about, even just flat Earth, the threat it could make, even though ironically it's kind of what we do is, anyone that's hoping to find out could possibly find out through one of us or something. But if
Right, but
everyone
even we
found out at the
play.
same time, it would be ironically not the best thing for everyone.
Even we play
Maybe.
the system, though. We know that the system is lying. We know that the
Sure.
Earth is flat. We know that they aren't spending for $37 trillion, or let's say we know they didn't just spend $1 trillion in fucking 2 months to bomb Iran. We know that. We know that a lot of it is corruption. We know that these people are doing this. Yet we still, every single one of us, plays some sort of a fantasy world in our brain so that we can still go and buy our food with our fake money. We can still drive and go get our license. Go down to the DMV and say, yes, I'm an American. I pay my taxes. I do all this kind of stuff. Not because you want to, not because you believe in all this stuff, but you have to go along with the facade, the show.
Well, yeah, but once you realize it's a facade, it's easier to go along with it because it's just a game that doesn't really matter in the larger sense
Okay,
anyway. It's not as real as
see
we
that.
thought it was. Yeah.
But it's harder. To me, it's
At
easier
first,
because
maybe, or
know
maybe
it
for
is.
some. Yeah.
But people that understand the concept of that, they are in the last 10 years have had, whether it be their value, their ability, or whatever of the things that they have to, like, let's say energy, food, gas, entertainment, and a place over your head. It is almost impossible to believe that the system going the way it is now, even 1 decade or 1 generation removed from us, or from now, are not ever going to be able to buy a house. I mean, do you realize that what the average
Well,
age
that's like
for
that's just old fashioned to buy houses. Why would you want to do that? Own nothing and be happy.
but it doesn't. Okay, fine. I went and
I'm not
bought
saying I believe that. That's
I
just
went and
the
bought a
attitude.
brand new truck when I got divorced. It was $21,000. That same truck, or the same type of truck and all that, would be $72,000 right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Okay,
you're going to just be
that's
automated. You're going to be in a car that drives itself here pretty soon. What do you need your car
okay.
for?
But if I used the same logic as far as where I worked and what I did, I would only make about $5 more an hour at the most for
Yeah,
start.
it's crazy.
So
But then, like,
there's a
think about
point.
having the phone that you have 10 years ago.
What about it?
Well, it's like there's a trade-off for everything. Like the technology's become more and more convenient for you to just be in your house and have like this whole world, like we're talking to each other right now,
I'm
available.
more connected, but I don't know if it's convenient. I think
Oh,
this
there's
thing
a
is
trade-off though.
been
It's a
more of a
trade-off for
detriment
sure.
than anything good. But yeah, I do
Well,
see what you're saying. I shouldn't say it. Yeah,
yeah, it's
you're
just a
right.
matter of
The computer in my
yeah,
hand. But let me tell you this: I wouldn't have never ever in my life spent more than $100 on a phone 10 years ago. Ever.
true,
No
right?
possible way. They're $1,000 for some of these phones.
No, yep,
Okay.
they got us. But that's why it all has to continue and continue to get like more and more. It's
But
like
it's going to
tech
stop.
crazy. Oh, maybe, but I mean that's the thing. If people stop paying their cell phones, that's when society collapses because they've got us with these cell phones. There's no way they're giving that up. They'll make it work so people can have their internet and make it seem like nothing really changed, just
Well, they
gradually.
already did. Dude, I can go even where I am. I'm in the middle of, I shouldn't say in the middle of nowhere. I'm 15 miles between two cities, as far as it's 15 miles to get to a
Sure.
town or anything like that. Even me sitting right here on this fucking mountaintop, I'm using wireless point-to-point internet, so I'm not connected by a wire. But even I can set up my routers and start pulling free internet all over the
Sure.
place. If I lived in a city, I can go to McDonald's. I can go to anywhere and get all this. I don't have to have any type of money nowadays to be connected. I don't have to
Right.
have an internet connection. I don't have to have any of that. Well, the reason I think it'll change is because they aren't going. We aren't going to want to be connected. Not so much that we can't be connected. When we all realized, when I'm not sure how many people are still talking or listening or anything. I can't even see the screen anymore. But I know
Everyone's
when we.
gone. It's just you and me now. You want?
Thank God, it's a lot easier to talk that way. Let me
I
tell you.
haven't looked myself.
Um, uh, when you realized that your phone, your computer, and every technological piece of equipment that was hooked to the internet was recording your voice, did it change in any factor in how
Nope.
you act?
It's just like, oh, okay. Well, I guess they've been doing that forever anyway, so I might as well not worry about it.
Right.
That's why the psyop, the total psyop of Snowden is a perfect example of the stuff we're talking about. They give us this hero that's telling us something that's most people already knew, just to like let people know that this is the bare bones facts. You're being recorded through your TV possibly and all your conversations. And we're going to even put Hillary Clinton on the stand and go through her emails as if like even